All right. Hello, everybody. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me, please? Um, please, you can unmute yourself and just speak back. Uh, just some people. Can you hear
Yeah,
me,
we
please?
hear you loud and clear.
Yes, yes,
All right. All right. Thank you very much.
yes.
Um, thank you very much once again. Right. Today, we'll be looking at two major things, right? That is very, very important. I decided to share this with you guys. I can see that some of you are probably a victim of some people on my page that are saying they have my course, they have my free materials and the likes. So I want to tell you that whatever things they have, if you buy it from them, you cannot be successful with it. I'm just sure about that because the material, the materials were they were taught in a manner at which when you listen to them on your own, you will never get it. You can ask probably some of my students that are already taking the course. You cannot get it. So I will employ you not to get it from any other person. Now, I'm still going to speak about that probably at the end of this class, but majorly today we'll be looking at what did I call a king order block, right? A king order block is something I got for myself, right? I due to my study of of the chart, right? I got to know where the market reverse from, right? Where I called it King Ubi. It might actually be wrong to some other people. Anybody can give a time to any particular concept in a market, but the most important thing is that you can figure it out, then you know how to do it. Now, another thing that I would like to discuss also today is what you call order block. Many of almost everybody already know what order block is. Order block is an ICT term, right? He created that. He probably gave it a name, right? Because I don't believe that there is there is something new in the market. Whatever things anybody will teach, it has already been taught, it has already been traded by some other set of people. Everybody are just looking for one way or the other to build on what some other people have done, right? So order block is an ICT term, right? And the credit also goes to him. But just like what I said, I have already fine-tuned my own order block to the point that I know a definite one I'm looking out for, and I know the one I'm not going to trade. Right. So this is why I could categorize them into a king order block, right? I categorize them into a strong order block and a weak order block, right? In my class, which is actually my mentorship, I categorized it under those two particular categories. Then there are some characteristics you are going to take note of when you want to spot a strong order block, and there are some you are going to take note of to get a weak order block, right? Which is what I'm going to share with you today. So, what is a strong order block and what is a weak order block? Now, I have four characteristics based on my study. I have four characteristics that actually make a a particular block to work out. So most times when you see this particular thing, it will market will most times come back to it and they will get rejected at that particular zone. We have four characteristics, and these four characteristics are you should just follow, right? Just follow me, then you'll be able to get them. What are the four characteristics? Let me share it um, on my white screen, right? The first characteristics of an order block, the first one, right, that you should look out for, right? The first one is it took out liquidity. We have liquidity grab, right? Liquidity grab, which is what I call LG in my term, liquidity grab, right? That's actually the first one. The second term you're going to look out for, right, is there is an impulsive move, or there's a significant move away from that. I've taught you guys what an um, what impulsive or significant move means. If you can't, probably you don't have the understanding of what an impulsive move simply means, you can go back to my market structure webinar. You are going to get that particular term. There is an impulsive move, right? That's another characteristics. Then another characteristic of a strong order block is that we have BMS. It breaks market structure, right? Then lastly, another characteristic of an order block is that it engulfed. Right. I think that is what probably in the group today, right, which is the free chat group, what one of you is trying to point to me that this is an ICT term. You call that institutional, I can't remember, sponsorship, right? Institutional sponsorship. I don't know what that means, right? I don't know what that means. Probably that would be probably based on my explanation. You should be able to know if that is correct or not. But based on this, right? Based on this, there's the four characteristics that I take note of in an order block. Now we have liquidity graph, right? That shows an order block must be the one that took out liquidity, right? The first one. So the other one, which is number two, is that there is an impulsive move away from that. That's number two. And number three, it breaks market structure. And number four, it engulfed. Like this engulfing will be at the beginning. Immediately it took out liquidity, then it engulfed. Right. Immediately this particular candle took out liquidity, it engulfed. For example, I don't know. I'm going to give you an example of that on the chart. I cannot start drawing because I don't want us to waste much time on this call. Right. So a strong order block will have these four characteristics. Right. A very strong order block will have these four characteristics. But the one that is weak, right? I have two major things to spot a weak order block. Right, two major things to spot a weak order block. Now, we have these four characteristics, but when this number one, right, and number two, right, is not there, when the absence of number one and number two, right, and when we have impulsive move and break in market structure, you can still call that a strong order block, but now weak. Right. It is not as strong as the one that has these four characteristics. And another thing for you to know a weak order block is that it doesn't have engulfing. And the candle, probably when we have just one candle like this, if we have just one candle, right, probably a red candle, and we want to have a bullish order block, the the green candle that we break this for it to become a bullish order block might be more than, if it is more than uh, three, right, there it is a weak order block, right? It is, if this is more than three, then it is a weak order block. It is not good to be traded. This, though, price might come back to it because order blocks serve as support and resistance. So it's another time when you hear the word order block, don't be confused. It's just a terminology that someone derived from the market to name a support and resistance. Other block are simply support and resistance because we are looking for market to come to this zone, get a resistance, I mean, get support from it before reversal. Then, if it is a bearish order block, we are looking forward to market to come into it, right? Get a resistance off it, then market should trade away. So, other blocks are support and resistance. They are support and resistance. Now, when you spot something like this, then you can easily say that this is a weak order block. And another characteristics of a weak order block is that it has been retested before. Right. So when this particular stuff has been retested, probably when market traded away from this particular zone, right, we are going to have probably something like this. This is the order block now, right? This is the order block. Then immediately this price move away from this zone, right? Immediately price move away from this zone, market came back to it to retest it before going back. Now, after this retest, then this is not a strong order block again, right? I'm still going back to recap everything I've said before going into the chart and show you what I mean by that. After a retest of this zone, then you can call this a strong order block again. Mind you, a strong order block will be a block that meet all these four characteristics. Then a weak order block is a block that we have two categories of a weak order block now. The first one, which is also good as a strong order block, is the one that has this impulsive move away from that and a BMS, right? But the second category of a weak order block will be the one that has been retested before. Right. One of my group member called that an infected OB. That shows it has been infected. It is no longer a virgin. So it might not likely hold price again because price has already been traded away from that. So you might not have it holding again. So this is what we call a weak order block. So we're going to look at these characteristics, then we're going to see how market responded to this zone. So just take note. I will just spot what we mean by bullish order. I mean, the strong order block. Then we will follow suit by identifying them on the chart. Right. So let's quickly move on. Right. So what is a strong order block? Now, look at this. Look at this candle. Rule number one, it took out liquidity. Can we see that it took out this low? If you go to lower time frame, you'll surely see that this took out this low. This particular block, even though it is like a doji, so I would like to include this particular block with it. So it took out liquidity, number one, took out this low, right? This low, number one. That's rule number one. Rule number two is that there is an impulsive move away from that. There is an impulsive move. Can you see this impulsive move? Significant move. Can you see that? So then another rule, that's rule number two. Then rule number three, it breaks market structure. Can you see how this lower high was broken? Right? So rule number three. Then rule number four is that it engulfed. This particular candle engulfed this one. So this is a strong order block. And as you can see, price came back to it and traded away. So you cannot call this an order block, right? Right, because you need all these four characteristics to be fulfilled. Right, right. So this is an example of a strong order block. So in most times, price will come back to it and get retested. And mind you, it must be engulfed, right, for it to actually have a very stronger OB. So what do we call a weak one? Can you see this one has been retested before? But price still came back to it and got rejected from that. But just like what I said, it is not validating the fact that market will not come back to it and get rejected. But I don't trust those blocks. So it is not every block that has a candle that closes above it that you will call another block. No, you need to consider all these characteristics. So this will now make you to know a key point where the market will likely come to reject from, and that's why on my flashcard, you will see some of this zone that market will surely come back to them and they will get reversed. And sometimes market will break through them. It is possible because there is no absolute in the market, right? There is no absolute in the market. So when market break this zone, then market got rejected, then it went higher. So that is what we call a strong order block. Then this can be seen as a weak order block, right? Look at this one here. Look at this one here. This is not a good order block. Why? Because it doesn't take out liquidity, and the significant move was not so clear, even though I can still take this as a significant move or an impulsive move. But look at this, it doesn't break any market structure, right? It doesn't break any market structure. So market will most times come back and actually surpass it away. So you should take note of all this time. Now let me show you another example of a strong order block. Look at this. Can you see this candle? Can you see this candle? This took out liquidity rule number one. This took out liquidity rule number one, right? There is a significant move away from that rule number two, right? Rule number two. There is a significant move away from that rule number two, right? Then we have break in the market structure. This is higher low. Then it got broken. Created a break in market structure rule number three. Then we have it engulfed. Can you see this engulfed? Right, this candle engulfed. So with this particular pattern, market came back to it, got rejected, then dropped. Can you see? So these are the characteristics of a strong order block and a weak order block that you're going to spot. Now let me show you an example of a weak order block. Look at this. Can you see this was the last candle, right? This was the last, let me call this a particular low. But look at how many candles before we break this particular zone, right? We have one, two, three, right? We have just three candles before we break this. So this particular order block, it is not a good order block. So most likely price will come back to it and get rejected. I mean, and it will fail, right? Right. Look at this one here. This is a good order block. Market will come back to it and find a support in here and go back. And why do we have that? Why do I say that it is a good order block? Even though it is not categorized as a strong order block, but it has two major characteristics of an order block. Right. What do we have here? we have price not taking out liquidity, which is rule number one, not fulfilled. Rule number two, we have a significant move away from it, right? Which makes it very viable or very good zone for us to look out for. Then rule number four, right? Number three, right? It break market structure, but there is no rule number four. And just like what I said, two things can be done away with, right? Two things can be done away with, which is rule number um, the engulfing, right, and liquidity grab, which is rule number one and rule number two. I mean, rule number one and rule number four. You can easily keep your eye away from that, probably when those rules were not met. But you must make sure that immediately when this price happen, there is a significant move away from that. This will make price to come back and respect that zone, then it will move away now. So this is what we call an order block. All right. Just like what I said, these are just terminologies for us to identify support and resistance. These are support and resistance. So they are advanced. No, I will not call it advanced because everybody has a definition of their own support and resistance. So I will say ICT would have uh, called this order block just to say that it is a support and resistance. If anybody doesn't agree, but that is just my own opinion about that. They are support because price surely move away from them, right? Price surely move away from them, right? So this is what we call a strong order block. Now let's quickly go to a king OB, right? What are king OB? Now king OB the time I just gave it king OB. Sometimes I might just be doing a teaching, and that is where I will surely give it a name, right? It's not that I will have a name in my head and probably I've already do before I do a teaching, probably for my class or every webinar that I hold, I already have my teaching notes where I take my teachings from. But sometimes those terms will just come out of inspiration when I'm teaching those things. Now, it was discovered, right? When I was teaching, I just gave the name, just like our inverse pattern, right? Inverse pattern, I just gave it that name because it looks the opposite of what we are really looking out for. Then I give it an inverse pattern. Now, what is a king OB? Let me quickly share my screen, then talk about that. Now, what do we call a king OB? For example, you have two candles, two bullish candles. If you have two bullish candles, right, we have candle one, right? Then you have candle two. Can you see that? We have candle one and you have candle two. One of you in the class said he's going to call that a hidden OB. Now you can call that a hidden OB. Call it any name that you like. Just make sure that you are getting it. Now let me use another candle. Now then this has a wick on it, right? And this also has a wick below it. Now look at this. So from this particular area, the beginning of this week, make sure that this week are actually of the same size. This will ensure you have a very good king OB that you are looking out for because I'm going to show you where an order block is there. These are not order blocks. Or why do we call it a king? Because they are also hidden, just like what Ozan said today, Benjamin. What he said, they are hidden, right? I can also adopt that name and call it a hidden OB, right? They are hidden, right? How are they hidden? Now look at this particular zone here, right? This is what we call a king OB, or let me call that hidden OB. I will adopt his word, hidden OB. Why do we call this hidden, right, or king? Is because nobody can spot it, but most times market will come to this zone or this zone and they will get reversed. Mind you, they are different from fair value gap, right? Look at his characteristics. Just like what I marked it, that is how you're going to mark it. And when you go to the chart and a lower time frame, you will surely see that it has a strong OB. These four characteristics are mostly likely to be there. Are you following? Now, let me draw the bearish one and now show you from the chart. Now, we have a very, mind you, it must be a significant drop like this or candles like this. The first candle, then you have the second candle, right? Can you see this second candle? Now, when you have something like this, then you can have another wick here, a lower wick, right? Just like what I said, they must be almost at the same size. The other candle here. So this is what I use for a rejection in the market. So I use this to spot rejection where the market is likely to reverse from. Now look at this box. Now between this particular edge, like this particular week candle and this week candle, that's what we're going to look out for on the lower time frame. So let's go to the chart and spot this king OB. And let me show you how easily you can do that. Now, you go to the lower time frame. Let's spot which one do we have now. Now, another thing that you should take note of, most times it happens almost after a strong OB, right? Almost after a strong OB. That is where you should look out for these characteristics. You cannot just look for it anywhere, right? After you have spot an OB, that is when you should look out for a king OB. Now, let's look at this. This is 4 hour time frame. Then can you see the upper wick, right? This is a king bullish king OB, the upper wick and the lower wick. Can you see that? The upper wick and the lower wick. Now you box this like this. When you box this, then I will go to a lower time frame, probably three lower time frames. I mean, three time frames lower than the one that I am for me to spot the hidden order block there. Now let me go to M15. Excuse me. Sorry. Let me quickly. Now, can you see inside this particular box? Can you see an order block in here? Can you see another block? Does it meet the characteristics of an order block? Yes, right? It took out this low, right? Break market structure. There's a significant move away from that. Then it engulfed, but this are actually engulfed, right? But not a very good engulfing candle, right? Can you see? Can you see this? So it meets that criteria. That is the king will be most likely market will come to this low. Now, if you go to 4 hour time frame, this will now be the zone where the market will likely reverse from this particular area here. But this actually got broken. But most likely, market will come to this zone and get rejected, then go higher. Now, let me show you another one, probably the one that took place on G. Which one now? Let me look for that price. I might just look out for any other one. This really got to the other block. But this one got rejected there, but it's not a good one. But we can still make use of it. This particular one here, even though it has been retested with this week, but we can still make use of it. Market came there and got rejected. So let's look out for it here from this zone to this zone. So we can go to lower time frame now, right? Three time frames lower, right? 1, 2, 3. That's the end 30 minutes time frame, right? We can go to 30 minutes time frame, right? So on my way to 30 minutes time frame, can you spot a strong order block there? Yes, this is it. It's inside this zone. Can you see that it is inside this zone, right? Look at it. Took out liquidity, right? Took out liquidity. That's rule number one. Rule number two, it engulfed. All right. Rule number two, there's a significant move away from that, right? Rule number three, it breaks market structure, right? Breaks this particular breaker, right? This is a lower high. Yeah, it breaks this structure. Then rule number four, it engulfed. Can you see that it is inside a king OB that you have that? Then the market will likely come to this particular zone and get rejected from it again. Can you see that? So that is more of the reason why we have this particular one here, right, getting rejected at this zone before this reversal because there is an order block within this area. Now, let's just look for another one, all right, another one that we can easily spot. Then we call it a day. Probably we take questions and we learn stuff. Um, 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 just look for another one. GBP. You can actually spot them easily, but I don't know. We cannot use all these ones. Can you see that all their wicks are not they are not of the same size, so they cannot use all these ones. They doesn't meet the characteristics to be a king order block, right? Right. We have another one here. Can you see? We have another one here. This is another block, right? After that, we have this kind of forming. this particular one here, then you can go to a lower time frame to spot this level. Go to 15 minutes time frame, and you can easily spot that this particular candle here. Can you see that break market structure? Then most likely market will come back and get rejected at this zone. So this is what we call a king order block and a um, a strong order block, right? So when you learn this and you study this, then you will be able to um, you'll be able to get things right in your trading method. So you have to observe this. Um, if you are trading, probably you are studying my chart, you are studying my flashcard, or you are learning BTMM, you are learning ICT, you are learning any other method. These are the things you can incorporate into your trading style for you to have a very great one. Let me just take some questions here. Then I will. If you have your question, just send it to the chat box. I'm going to read through that. Okay. So, good everyone. Hi. Um, So if you have a question, just send it here. I'm going to read your question here because I'm not allowing everybody to mute their mic. Or if you want to talk, you can raise your hand. So indicate I'm going to mute you, then you can talk. Does someone said, okay, Sam, right? Uh, does King Obi have to be near Fib OTE? Right? Sometimes it's not actually an ideal, probably to have a Fibonacci level or so, but it's just a level where the market. I have not used Fibonacci with it, but it's just a level where market get rejected from. In my course, I call that a market rejection theory. These are the zones where market get rejected from. Right. So will you please make your box lighter and more transparent so we can see what they cover? Right. Sorry about that. So it's going to be like FVG. King Gobi is not FVG. King Gobi is not FVG. They are different thing entirely. Just like what I highlighted, they are different thing, right? This is King Gobi, bullish King Gobi. Can you see what I'm boxing? Bullish King Gobi and bearish King Gobi. So these are the things you should take note of in King Obis. Right. So we have some people raising their hands. Let me check them out. And all right, that's Sam. So you can unmute yourself and talk to me if you want to talk now. Please, one after the other.
Okay, thank you so very much, sir.
Okay.
My question is, what time frame do we use for the king order block?
You can use any time frame as far as is concerned. Just like what I said, for you to spot the main block, right? You go to two time frames lower. So that shows from 8 to 12. You can make use of any other time frame to look for that. For example, please mute your mic now. For example, um, this particular one, which is USD, GBP USD, right? We got it from 8-4, right? Then I went to two time frames, I mean, three time frames lower than that, M15, for me to get the king, right? For me to get the OB that is in that particular zone. So how do you mark that for someone that said I should lighten it a little bit? This is what I'm marking, right? I've just showed you what you are expected to mark in the characteristics. Mind you, it must be immediately after an order block. That is when you spot the candle that has that feature. Then you can as well mark it as where the market will get rejected from. So these are the zones where market sometimes, not all the time, right? The best zone which market get rejected from is still an order block, right? But these ones also you can use it also as the rejection zone of your market, right? Any other question, please? If it to stand alone. No, you just use that for it doesn't require any more rules. With you just to uh, put it in your trading style just to get where the market might likely reject from. So is a king go be right? Sometimes probably after marking it on higher time frame, you can just mark it like this. Just using this as an example. Let me look for a better one. As where your market will come to. Let me just find a better one where your market will come to and get rejected from. Let me find. Looking for a bearish one, even a bullish one. Probably this level like this, and just mark something like this. Right. So sometimes market might pierce it, and sometimes it will be exactly where the market will get. Can you see this candle exactly run into it? Right. So this is not a very good one, right? This one is not a very good one. But market ran into it, then moved away before it came back to pierce it again. So these are king, right? For example, this is a another example. So sometimes market will just come into this zone and get rejected from it, mostly when market is at trending. This is actually very far. Can you see that that is where the market rejected from? Can you see this zone? That's where market rejected from. Where we marked here, this zone. So the market came there and went higher. So this is just a zone where market rejected from. Now this is M15. If you go to M1, you should be able to spot that particular order block that would have caused this market to get rejected from this area. All right. Um, I think we are cool. We're cool. Right. Lastly, before I will say the last thing, is that many people will message you to get my course. Again, if you are getting that from another person, apart from the right source, then you'll be doing yourself more harm than good. Because I can bet it with you, I record my video in such a way that you would not understand it until you listen to me, right? You will just study it, right? And you will not get anything. You can ask those people in my mentorship. It is when they come, right? Some of them even think that they've already understand everything, that they've understood everything. It was when they came in, right, that we started another set of webinars. That's when they know that, oh, because everything was actually taught in a way that I should not have actually given that. But I've given them the concepts, but the usage of it is very, very important, that you need my help to put all everything together for you to trade. So if anybody is offering you for $50, for $10 for free, run away. I can say that my free materials, they are even more better than the mentorship video without my help. Like this one that I'm providing for you now, I've already made sure that I did not uh, uh, protect anything in there, right? So you will need my help for you to actually to scale through. You can ask most of the people in my group; they are traders. Even they have their own mentorship also. But I can tell you, some of them will bear me witness that it is not a playing ground, right? Because it's a thorough work, and it's just like a school. Like if you are a lazy type, you are going to drop off from my mentorship, because I make them to face that particular action for them to know what they are doing at the end of the day. So if anybody is offering you offering the cost to you for $10, $50, and whatsoever, they are planning to create a group to add you there. Even my students, they have not yet understand the concept, not to talk of any other person teaching you what I'm teaching. Please run away from your life. Don't pay $50. That $50, save it up to the point to that you can really afford the cost. And the free materials, let me tell you one thing. People don't value free things, just like what I'm giving you now. Right. People won't value it. They still think there is nothing to learn. Right. And that is why you will see many videos flying all about online, ICT, BTMM, everything. But ask how many students are profitable with that? Without a mentor, without the guide or the guidance of any of the individual that created that video, you cannot do well. That's why we have thousands of people that have access to ICT material. But tell me, are they successful with it? No, they are not. So materials, getting free materials will not help you, right? It will not help you. You can also testify to it that some of you, even you have materials that are even beyond you, right? You have different courses material, but tell me, are you successful with them? You are not. So materials, getting video online, getting material for free will not help you. So the reason for charging for a course is for a sacrifice, so that you will know what you are sacrificing for. Let me tell you, well, I think late last year or earlier when I started this mentorship course, I hired some people for free. For free. I mean for free. But do you know what happened? They were never serious. They were, I can point to 10 people that I've trained for free, but they did not get to the final stage before I removed them from my group. Why? They are not serious with it. So if you get that free material, even if you get the paid mentorship material for free, do you know how you're going to treat it? You are going to treat it as a free material. Why? Because you got it free and you don't have a mentor to put you through. So you can't be successful. So that's why I'm boasting that go anywhere, you will not be able to be successful. You can't even be successful with that material on your own. You can get something out of it, but you'll be confused at the end of the day. I can actually bet that with you. So do well to practice what I've given you for free. Practice that, master that, and trade with that. I can tell you we have some people that are trading with the free materials and they are doing well. I have measured everything together and I have told you in an order at which you should study it. Right, I've already given that to you. Then look at them, study it together. I even offer some of you the opportunities to study that. And if you need an assignment, I can even drill you an assignment just for you to get the whole concept and trade it, then make money, then join the class. And if you choose not to join the class, then you are free. It's not a must, right? It's not a must. Paying for the course, you are not paying me for whatsoever. You are paying for my intelligence, you are paying for my time, you are paying for my commitment to you as your mentor. That's what you are paying for. So you cannot expect me to give it to you for free. And I will shock you, by June, this course will actually become close to $1,000. I can actually tell you that. Because if you ask anybody that are there, I respond to my students 24/7. My time of sleeping, I will wake up to reply, to assess the assignment, and do all sort of commitment to them. So what you are paying for is not even for the course. Some of you say that is ICT material. We can actually see that in your life. If you know that is ICT material that I'm teaching, then go and take that ICT material and study it and be profitable. Then you don't have any problem. You don't have any problem. Anybody can take it. So far, it's online. ICT material, BTM materials are online. Get them, study that. At the end of the year, let's see your profit, or let's see what you can do. Right? Some of you, you just have bad mouth. Instead of you to praise somebody that is giving something for free, you're just looking for something to just bring the person down. I'm not interested in such a thing. I've learned, right, to undo the praises, right, and the censures of men, right. So, and nothing, if you praise me today, oh Allah Timothy, thank you for what you have done, I will take it as if somebody is abusing me. So I will just take it as neutral. So I've learned not to respond to praises. I've learned not to respond to criticism, right. I'm not moved by them. So do yourself the good by studying that. And if you know that is actually material, is good for you. Go and study that and see at the end of the year what you are going to bring out of that. Right. So that is what I have to say. So take the materials, what I've provided for you, study them together, right? Do assignments, do flashcard, right? Markup chart. You can send it to me. I will correct you if that is based on what I have taught. If you are sending what I did not teach to me, I will not correct you on anything. But if it is based on my teaching, you can post it to the group. If I have the time, I will comment on it that this is wrong, this is not wrong, or this is right. So the ball is in your court and you should know how to manage it. So I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining in. Right. If you want to join the course, it is available. So you can join at any time. I think there is um, there is an opportunity, right? The admission is going on for June class, right? You can apply as soon as possible to start the course by the end of this month. That's with the June batch, right? And be trained in how to trade the market in an awesome way. So you will learn how to trade both ways, right? Both buying and selling at the same time, and you'll be able to do that effectively. That is how we're trained, and that is what we communicate to our students. All right, thank you everybody for joining in. I will see you in the next video. Thank you. God bless you.